test of your reaction, whether or not it was going to be sad or happy, and so now I know how you guys feel about class. No, so last week, class is here, almost here to the end. So to get us going today, a little history on myself. Right after college, I worked at a place called Playworks, and I worked in elementary school and taught recess, basically. And so going back to those roots, we're going to play a little bit of a game we called Rochambeau Rockstar. So Rochambeau is another form. I don't know. Does anybody call it? Is it rock paper scissors or Rochambeau? Does anybody? Rock paper scissors. All right, raise your hand if you've ever called it Rochambeau. Rochambeau. Two. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it is like very, very small. So that's what we would call it. But so the idea of the game, it would be best to show. So I need three volunteers. If I can get 3 people to come on up here. Really fun. All right. So how this game goes is basically you're just going to be playing rock, paper, scissors over and over and over again. But it's much more exciting than just that. So if you two want to pair off, and then Dee Dee and Zach and I we'll pair over here. And then, so what we're going to do is we're going to play a game of rock, paper, scissors. Everybody's going to pair off in the room and play rock, paper, scissors. So go ahead.
Shoot or no shoot?
Yeah, shoot. You can agree to rules and things like that beforehand and go. So rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right. So then what would happen is the winner, whoever loses, will now go behind the person who won. And now we are a pair. She becomes my cheerleader, and Dee Dee becomes Zach's cheerleader. And we're going to go find another group to take off again. So we've got a person cheering behind you, and we're going. I want to do like 5 times. All right, ready? 5, shoot. All right, you got me. So now our line follows behind Zach, and he goes and finds another person until there's one person declared as the Rochambeau Rockstar. All right? Everybody got it? All right, go ahead and pair off. I challenge you to duel. And then wait to play rock, paper, scissors until I say go. So make sure you're all paired off, and then I'll tell you when to start. Yeah, sure. All right. We ready? Go. If you don't have one, then face off against the shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah! Let's go back! Now we got the blood flowing and we're ready to go. So the reason why we do those kind of things, and here's for the little cheesy line at the end of all of that. But It really is. This is our team here, and we need to have each other's backs throughout the whole year. And so, regardless of who gets the glory, that it's along the way that we do our best to support one another in our teams, as well as across all of Residence Life. We're here to serve this place and to serve it well, and you're the team to do it. So, with that, go ahead, Becca.
All right, so as Nick said earlier, this is our last RA class for now. We'll come back together in August and do a lot more learning and a lot more fun. But we just spent a couple of weeks reading through this book. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I can read things and even talk about things and then walk away and totally forget everything that we just spent a couple weeks learning about and talking about. So today we're going to spend some time in groups going back through this book and thinking through, okay, now what? Like, we read these things, we talked about these things. What does this mean about me? What does this mean about the RA role? What does this mean about the campus? And what do we do with this? So here's what we're going to do. When I release you, I'm going to have you separate into groups of 3 or 4, and I want you to be with people from other staff teams. So that might not work out perfectly. We may have a little bit of overlap, but try as hard as you can to be with people from different staff teams. I'm going to pass out paper and pens if you need a pen. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have you in your groups. We're going to give you about 20 minutes to go through chapters 1 through 5. Chapter 6 is just 1 page, and it was a great little ending, but we don't need to really debrief that. And for each chapter, you're going to come up with a new idea from that chapter as a group with an application from that chapter. So, okay, how can I actually do this in my RA role? And then a question you had, whether it's, I don't understand what they meant by saying this, or I don't agree with this, but something you're questioning about that chapter. All right, so we're going to spend some time in our groups doing that. You can come up with a couple for each thing as well. It doesn't have to be just one new idea, but a couple of things that you learned and want to apply and that you're questioning. And then I'll call us back together, and we'll all come up and write a few of our responses on these poster boards around the room. So go ahead and separate into groups of 3 or 4 or 5 with people from other staff teams, and I'll come around with paper. We're learning, and that's exciting. And we're going to keep bringing some of these ideas and practices up in the fall when we meet back together again. In a moment, we're going to have Becky Case come up and talk about Trek. But before she comes up, let's just go chapter by chapter. Can somebody just share one new idea that they learned from chapter 1? Actually, freeze. Let's do it this way. One new idea in general from all the chapters. Yeah.
We talked about chapter 1 to be a facilitator, not a dictator.
Yeah. What does that mean?
It means, like, I guess, kind of engage your residents students and trying to be more of a mediator instead of a police officer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. All right, can I have somebody share one application from this book that you guys discussed as a team? Yeah, go
Just
Olivia.
gathering residents together at the beginning of the year to talk about expectations for like what they need and want.
Yeah, that's good. You go too. Oh, is that a hand? No.
No.
No. Okay. Millie, was your hand up?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Ours was for chapter 2, and it was instead of accusing, trying to build a community, and that can facilitate open and honest communication.
Yeah, that's really good. All right, you guys, and then one question that your group came up with from this book. Go, Sarah.
How does restorative practice change the way we think about issues in the community? So, like, does it change the way that we look at the problem and therefore the way that we find a solution?
Yeah, that's good. And here's what I'm going to do with all of our questions that you guys wrote. I'm going to take pictures of them and save them and talk about it with all of the RDs and make sure that we can address these questions, whether it's in our staff teams or in training in the fall. But we're not asking questions just for the sake of asking questions. We want to be able to dive deeper into these issues as we start training up again in August. All right, so I'm going to welcome our dear friend, Becky Case. Of course, and she's here to talk to us about TREC.
Cool. Is this y'all's last RA meeting?
Yeah.
I can't believe we're in the last week of school. I'm a little, I'm still a little daunted by that, but I'm also excited about new ends and new beginnings. And this feels like a long ways away, but because summer will happen so fast, the beginning of the RA year is going to come just like that. So yeah, the RDs invited me to come and talk just a little bit about your first section of RA training. And what we've typically done for that first section of RA training to help you prepare for the year is actually gone on a retreat together. And that retreat has come to be known as the TREC trip, so you've probably heard about TREC. Really, it's a retreat with two purposes. One, to help you and your staff know each other really well. So God's handpicked you to work with your own group. And so to know each other, the ins and outs and how to do that, we think that, and we found that starting the year with that helps you a ton as you move forward into the year, as you work in your buildings, as you create vision for your staff, and so to help you know one another better in that. And then to also help you take your experiences from the summer and prepare for the year. So to know yourself better and to know what the Lord's saying to you better as you move into an RA year together. So to help you know each other better, and then also to help you know yourself and what the Lord's saying to you better. So that's kind of the big purpose of the retreat together. There'll be actually practical training pieces that come with that too. But the medium that we're going to use for the retreat is actually a backpacking trip. For some of you, you've done that before and you're like, okay, I did that before. For others of you, it will be a brand new experience. But each year, TREC holds a different experience for folks. So even if you've been on TREC before, your team this year will be different, your experiences this year will be different, and we're going to a different area. So the place will be different as well. So for those of you who are imagining carrying your book bag around with a bunch of stuff in it, that's actually not what we use. We'll give you these kind of backpacks. And they actually have a waist belt. So can I have a volunteer? Someone?
Yeah.
Alex, come on up.
All right.
All right. So Alex, you can put that backpack on. And here's what I want you to see as you kind of imagine carrying a backpack around, right? If he's got some heavy stuff in this, even, engineering books, communication books, whatever he has, weighing him down, it's going to hurt his shoulders a lot. So they have these nice little waist belts. Go ahead and buckle your waist belt. And Stephen, will you be our second volunteer?
Sure.
Come on up. So go ahead and tighten that waist belt, Alex. There you go. Cool. So, there's lots of strap adjustments. We might tighten these down and so on. But Stephen, go ahead and put just a little pressure on this right there. Okay. Okay. All right. So the weight actually goes on your hips rather than on your shoulders. So I want you to see that because it helps you imagine what it's going to be like. We're still going to be walking with packs. It's not just like walking normally. You will be carrying a little weight. And so that's one piece of preparation you can do this summer is help yourself be in good shape for this. And what that looks like is building some strength walking, or if you're a runner or doing something like that. So exercising in some sort of way will actually help it be more comfortable for you. You can go ahead and take the pack off. The second piece of prep for you is what to bring. And so I have some items in the backpack that demonstrate what to bring. We're going to mail the list out to you. Basically, what you need to bring is your personal items and your clothing for it. Yeah, you can sit. Thank you, guys. Give them a hand. So we'll mail you that list. The big thing that you need is a couple layers that are not cotton. So most of you are actually, probably 3/4 of you are wearing cotton things right now. Cotton is like flannel, most sweatshirts, jeans, that kind of stuff. I have mostly cotton on too. The reason we want some layers that aren't cotton is because cotton takes heat away from your body when it's wet. So if you sweat while you're hiking or something like that, or it rains and drizzles a little bit, then you want to be able to stay warm. So a couple of those layers would be running tights. If you have running tights, that's a great synthetic layer. It's a non-cotton layer. You might also want some, let's see. You might also want some wind pants or some hiking pants or something like that. These are like Smurf blue. Do you know that this was my college colors? We had this like bright Smurf blue. I know, it was something else, I know. So these could be someone's pants for the trip. For it. And then something besides sweatshirts for the top. You can wear t-shirts normally, but have a long sleeve shirt that's either a synthetic sweatshirt, something that's not cotton. You can look at the tags. Or Luke Miller, will you stand up? Look at the shirt that Luke has on. Shirts like that work too. Soccer pants work. So something that's not cotton would be helpful to bring with you for it. So we'll give you that list. Most of it's items that you are going to have for that. Tuesday, when you come back, first day of RA training, Monday. Yeah, right. Monday, you come back. Tuesday, after you have a little time with your staffs there, Tuesday we're going to spend some time getting ready for the trip by packing those things, getting the things that you've already brought together, and you can just bring them in a duffel bag or something like that when we all pack. And that's when we'll give you a sleeping bag, a backpack, things like that for the trip. That Tuesday. So Tuesday we'll spend time packing up, we'll sleep on campus, and then Wednesday morning is when we'll leave. We'll be gone Wednesday through Saturday, and we'll spend time hiking there and just living together, cooking together. We actually have really small stoves that somebody who's a cool engineer designed, and they're pretty sweet for us to cook on. And so we'll be spending time eating, being together, doing those kind of things. And we'll also have the opportunity one day to go inside a cave, if you'd like to go inside a cave. So that's a new experience for many of you. So we can help you kind of imagine what that looks like. And we'll do more of that in August when we get together. So that's kind of Tuesday through Saturday will be the retreat that we'll go on. Here is some of the things that would be helpful for you to know. One, Nick is your contact person right there. Yeah. Nice, I like it. So questions are things that you have throughout the summer. You can either ask me, I'll be here all summer, or Nick for that, or the Res Life office is fine too for that. We'd like to know food allergies that you have and know of now, food allergies or preferences. So if you're a vegetarian or a vegan or stuff like that, or if you have an allergy to something, that's helpful for us to know now. You can also email us over the summer if those kind of things develop. Sometimes you're like, man, I just found out that I need to be gluten-free, that I have celiacs or something like that over the summer. Great, email us that or talk with us about that so we know. You'll also be receiving a couple email reminders from Nick about that throughout the summer for it. I couldn't tell if Hunter had a question. You're like raising your hand. You're stretching for it. Great. And then we want to spend time just helping you prepare for your RA year by being together for that. So, Nick, is there things you want to add?
Yeah, just be looking out for those emails and feel free. At any time that you have any questions, anything like that, feel free to email me over the summer as you think about it. Right. Looking forward to emailing with you all.
Great. Nice. There are many items that I have. If you do not have the clothing items that you need on the clothing list, I have several options, like the Adventure Learning has some options. So if you reserve those, somebody can have Smurf pants if you want. You'll need to get some kind of rain protection layer. So a poncho at Walmart, I think this one was $2.50 or something like that, $2.50. So they're pretty inexpensive to get a poncho for yourself. And then the other thing is there's crazy items on the list, like a hat. That feels weird for August, and I'm hoping it will be a weird item to bring for August. But go ahead and pack it and bring it with you, because one year it was about as cold as it was this morning. It was in the low 40s one morning. So a hat could be helpful if it happens to get that cold. We're hoping it doesn't in August, but anything can happen. I had frost on my car this morning, so I know it was chilly last night. So if you don't have these items, don't spend a lot of money getting them. Either borrow them from a friend, borrow them from the Adventure Learning program, or go to a thrift store and get something that you need. That is the way to go for it. All right, what questions do you folks have?
What are some items you shouldn't bring on the trip?
Ooh, good question. We're going to actually have you leave your cell phones on. They'll be in either off mode or on campus with you. And the reason for that is we don't have great coverage out there. We have the emergency contact for that. But the real reason is because we want you to be present with each other. When you're present with your phone, you're not necessarily present to the people or the things around you. And so that's one item. Another item is we're actually going to have you leave deodorant on campus. That sounds weird, and it is a little odd, right? Because we all put deodorant on this morning. But that's another thing we're going to leave on campus. And everybody does it, so everybody's going to be out there. One, fresh air we're going to be in fresh air, so that helps. Two, there can be, just for health and safety reasons, there can be things that develop when that deodorant stays on your skin and continues to be applied in ways. So we want to keep you healthy in that way as well for it. And then there are, you'll need to leave scented things behind. So you'll take bug spray with you if you'd like that. But a lot of scented lotions and makeup and that kind of stuff you're actually going to leave behind too for it. So that's a few of the items. I can't remember them all but yeah. Good.
Could we bring a Polaroid camera?
Sure. Yes, we will have some form of cameras with us. You could bring a Polaroid. I think my concern would be if it's, how does it function in humidity? I don't know. Like, that's kind of why I'm like, I don't know if it'd be helpful, but yes. So, yeah. Other questions? Great. I'm looking forward to being with you all in fall and being part of your RA training, and just excited for you folks to serve our campus, to love students well here, to create your culture creators in that way, in the residence halls and beyond. Yeah, Lincoln.
What number track is this for you?
This is, I want to say number 11, but I'm not sure about that. Yeah, good question, Lincoln. I'm going to look that up now because I don't remember. Bad memory. Getting old, I tell you. So, yeah. Sweet. Well, let me pray to close us. Unless, are there other things that you folks have? All right. Lord, thanks for these folks who are eager to serve with the gifts that you've given, who want to steward those well and give back to campus. And I pray as they go out from here and finish the semester well, give diligence to that, and as they engage their summers, just learning and a sense of your presence with them. And we're excited for their return here and the work you have for us to do in the fall. In your name, amen. Happy last week